What is your perspective on the importance of mental health in women's sports?
In sports, in mental health in sports, it's actually not just for women only that it's emphasized, but it's for all athletes. I think that mental health now is very spoken about more. A lot of athletes are coming out saying that they are going through their own issues, and it's good to be said out loud, and you can see the effects of what mental health does to your psychological side, your emotions, and also physically for performance. So that's important, not just for women's sports, but also for all athletes.
How did your emphasis you placed on mental health at the beginning of your career differ from the end of your athlete career?
From the beginning, when I was in juniors, I was 11 years old. I had mental training right from the get-go with the national team. So we learned how to do goal settings, how to minimize all the negativity from turning negative to positive, and also just trying to minimize expectations. How do we deal with expectations when it comes up? So I learned that through my mental training, and up towards my professional career. I had a sports psychologist when I was living in Amsterdam, and I carried on this thing because I knew how important mental health is and how important my mind is while I'm competing, to be ready and to have someone there to speak about what's going on, like have someone there to support you if you're going through your struggles, if you are not able to handle pressures. All these things are what all athletes go through. And as a person, I also advise people to seek help if they need to. Create a positive environment around that is good, and that they can be that can be supported in their own development and growth. And when it came to my end of my sports career, I kept that same thing. I had closest people around me, my team, to support me if I was in a very tough situation to make this decision to move on. I had them by my side. So always have people, not just athletes, but everybody will have to have some good positive reinforcement to keep them going and keep them moving forward when people are struggling through their mental health.
Based on your experience, what advice would you give to the future generation of players on dealing with being in the spotlight?
Other players, athletes, and everyone that are there to go and pursue their dreams in sports, is to really take their mental health as first priority, and to get assistance in their sports psychology, in helping them manage their expectations. Because being in the spotlight, or when you get wins and you're doing well, there's a lot of different things that come into play, and how to minimize that becoming a constant burden on themselves. So it's good to have someone to talk to. It's good to have expert advice and therapy, and never feel afraid to ask for help.
Unfortunately, there seems to be issues with bullying, sexual harassment, selection bias, favoritism, and racism. Body shaming in Malaysian sport that can have significant repercussions for an athlete's health and mental well-being and sports performance. What measures would you like to see the sports associations/government organizations taking?
I believe that all the heavy issues that has been mentioned, it's really has to be addressed, and all the governing bodies and the sports associations need to take this seriously and make a point to continue to follow up really well on the ongoings of all sports, on everything that's under their roof, to make sure the athletes are safe, and also that they can continue to be nurtured the right way in building their future. Because anything that happens within the vicinity of the sporting arena through training and through competition boils down to how we bring the right people in the team to build these athletes. And the governing bodies and the sports associations are responsible, and they have to take these matters very seriously.
There is still a need for change of attitudes towards female sport in Malaysia. Are we currently doing enough in educating of society in the acceptance of how female athletes are portrayed within the media? Who do you think is responsible for this? What needs to happen to change this?
I think not just in Malaysia, I think the female athletes all around the world will always face some sort of resistance or some sort of not knowing whether they can do more. But at the same time, there is now slowly starting to have some turning points, and there's more role models in Malaysia, like athletes that are showing that they are doing well for the country, and we can aspire to be like them. And that's all very good signs. But we still need to make big moves at the top. Globally, not just Malaysia, but globally, all the decision-making positions are run by men, and that's still a very, very tough thing to break. And we need to encourage more women to fill in those roles, represent women more adamantly, and they have to represent us to fight for what we need to bring out, and that we can't do it if there is like a 90% of men that are taking the decision-making roles and higher positions. So we need to make those changes and encourage more women to fill those roles.
Thanks for watching.